at that. Oh, look at these, incredible.
So Joslyn Barnes, welcome to the Margaret Herrick Library, where we're here to celebrate Nickel Boys, which has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Adapted Screenplay. This is the second time that you've received an Oscar nomination in a producer-director collaboration with RaMell Ross.
Yes.
I'm curious, what have you learned about what's important when nurturing a creative relationship?
I always think, as a company, our process has been very much about thinking about the filmmaker's career. Who do we want to be in this particular moment? And in this particular political moment, also, I think RaMell and I felt really strongly that this story, because Dr. King was also inside of this story, how to make that contemporary, how to take that out of the lane of what has effectively become a kind of cliche, and how to think about what does civil rights actually mean in this moment.
One of the amazing things about doing an interview here at the Margaret Herrick Library is that we're able to pull really cool stuff, some artifacts from the films that shaped and informed your own point of view. And we're gonna kick things off with The Deer Hunter.
Okay.
Photos, contact sheets, and lobby cards from the core collection.
Look at that. Oh, look at these, incredible. When I was a kid, a sister who's 7 years older than I am, said to my parents, we're gonna go out to the movies tonight. We were living in New York. They were kind of laissez-faire parents. They were like, okay, as long as it's PG, okay. Yeah, it's PG.
Same with me, yeah.
Right,
I
so
feel
we
ya.
went to, so we go to the theater and it's, The Deer Hunter. My sister has taken me to The Deer Hunter at the age of 13. I came out of the film utterly traumatized. It is the first memory I have of thinking how amazing it would be to be a filmmaker.
Up next, we have The Mirror for you.
These are fabulous to see these pictures, wow. The Mirror truly changed how I see everything, actually, in cinema. And it's something that I talked to RaMell about. I know it also affected him a lot. And this film became very important to us. It's a film about memory, and so is Nickel Boys, of course, so it has a relevance. The opening scene of The Mirror, for me, is probably the greatest opening scene of any film ever.
We're gonna close things out with something from your own work. This is an Oscar response sheet and clippings file for Hill County.
Oh my goodness, you guys have such a collection, it's amazing. We met at Sundance. I think I was on my way to get a ticket when somebody called my name and pulled me into this and said, hey, we have this filmmaker, he's made this cool film from Alabama, and we just have this feeling, you guys, would you like to just sit with him, and I was like, I was looking at my watch, I was like, okay, I'll go and sit. RaMell he already had been shooting for quite some time, but he only had about 8 minutes to show, and I just put on the headphones and watched it with him, and I took them off and I looked at him, and I said, but I think you should just keep doing what you're doing, because he had told me that everyone in the room, basically, that he had met with was trying to get him to fit it into a narrative story. It was so clear to me that he actually understood exactly what he was doing.
Well, what a partnership it's been.
Yeah.
Best of luck this weekend. Joslyn, thank you for sharing your story. Thanks for sharing your perspective.
Thanks for having me.